everyone. This is Tanya from Widow to Widow. Widow to Widow, how are you doing? I just wanted to come on to say hello to everyone and see how everyone is doing. When I ask that, I really want to know how you guys are doing. Let me know in the comment section how you're doing today and where you from. I just came on just to inform you of something I've been playing around with what's called it's me time with Tanya. And I did a little write up in the community section of my channel. Please check that section out. I'll be putting things different ideas of what's on my mind in there, popping in just to kind of engage with you guys from time to time as I'm working on projects that's not ready to be released yet. And working on these different channels, it's fun, it's amazing, but I have to make sure I keep up with my time with God. So I would love to post more, but I think it's more beneficial right now for me to continue to go the path and the pace that I'm going. We all got to find our pace, and I'm finding my pace. But I do want to reach out and at least once a week, I'm thinking. Hopefully more than once a week when I say that, but once a week that I'm checking in with you guys till we make it on live. I need 50 subscribers, I think, to make it on live. But I wanted to just see how you guys really are doing. I know a lot of us, we're on our up. We're on our up, but then some of us, we're still going through trials and tribulations, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on a little bit, because I know before this season started that God said that even though this season is full of new adventures, things that he's birthing and manifesting in our lives, that there are some of us who will be going through different trials and tribulations as well. And there's some that's going through trials and tribulations that's not in this season. So, we thank God for wherever we fit in this season, because whatever season we are in, we know that they last for a season. However that season lasts, every season is different. So if you are in a season where you just can't see the light and you're in the darkness, I want to touch a little bit on that as well, because we can't forget those people who may not be where we are right now, where we're experiencing so much high, because we have already experienced so much lows and we couldn't get any lower. Like, we really literally couldn't get any lower in our lives at some point. And as we are in this particular season, I want to try to stay right here, is because this is the season where I'm being so blessed at, and I couldn't wait to get here. I knew it was coming. I could feel it was coming. And every season I thought it was it, and it was a season leading to this season. But this season that we're in now is just amazing. And I just want to shout you all out that's in this season. Stay great. Stay with God no matter what season we're in. Stay with God. He's the one that's going to help us through these things. We may not understand everything we go through in life, but it feels so good when you get understanding, when you do get it, when you get clarity. And those things usually come after a while. We may not know everything, but what I'm finding out, I'm knowing a satisfied amount of things that I didn't know before and always wondered why and had questions. And I just want to keep encouraging and inspiring you that, that wherever you are, just trust your process, that it is a process. Your process is a process. Trust the journey you're on, that God is not forgotten you. He will never leave us. Even when it feels like, when we're in our darkest moments, that he's there with us, with everything, every what do you call it, promotion, or every increase, every new level you on, it takes testing. You put product out, you have to test that product. You have to make sure it can endure things. So we don't know what all God has in store for us. So that's why we go through some of these tests, and it doesn't feel good. And we go through these trials and tribulations, and it really does not feel good. Anybody tell you feel good is a lie. But It feels good when you've come out of it. It feels good to know that you've stood the test. It feels good to know that you didn't fall and stay down. You know, we fall, but we get back up again. So that these are the things that make these seasons go by. We can't just stand still. And I also want to talk to those who suffer for mental illnesses. Some I may name, some I don't, but I do name the ones that I have been affected by one way or another, and that's PTSD, that's post traumatic stress disorder, that is anxiety and depression, like whatever other mental is, if it's schizophrenic, bipolar, whatever they are. Don't let nobody shame you for what you're going through. Get help with it. You know, we all have our journeys, and that is part of your process. It doesn't mean you have to stay stuck in that. Get help. That was another thing on my mind the other night I meant to get on, didn't get on to talk about. So I guess this video will be everything I forgot to get on to talk about, as well as checking in and seeing how you guys are doing. But this has been heavy on my heart to talk about. As we're winning and stuff, we still somehow times, even when I'm in the state that I'm in now, I find myself with the anxiety. That's why I do the meditating so much. I meditate a lot, and I'm blessed to be able to have that quiet time that I need while I'm creating and doing whatever God has me doing in here, and reaching out with you guys in between time, and doing the things as a servant of God does. You know, that's who I am. I'm a servant of God. If anybody want to know, if I'm trying to explain it to you and I still haven't explained it to you clear enough for you, I'm a servant of God. I do what God tells me to do. And doing so is where I am now with Widow to Widow, Sister to Sister, and the Human Rights Movement projects. And that's named that because they're projects that comes under all of these channels and titles. They're not just pages on Facebook. They're not just channels that I just picked out of the air. They actually has visions connected to it. And as I'm directed to share more of the vision, I will. I try to share enough to let you know, some of what's going on. I think I have, but if I haven't, that's when you come into play. Comment. Give me a comment. Let me know what you're unclear of so I can clarify it for you more. But this right now I'm speaking on is Widow to Widow. And I just want to check in on my widows and see how you lovely queens are doing out here. And if there's any widowers that may see this, the men who have lost their wives, I'm checking on you guys as well. To all my kings and queens, it's called Widow to Widow because I am a widow. And I've been a widow for 7 years now. Anybody that follow numbers, 7 is the sign of completion / perfection. So it's befitting that the Lord allowed me to open this channel up on January 12th of 2023 that marked the 7th year of the anniversary of me being a widow. And it's funny because last year this time I told God, listen, I'm sick of being a widow. I'm sick of having that title. Okay, you already told me what my future looks like. I ended up accepting it. For a while I was not accepting it. I told God some things, and he let me rant for I guess about 1.5 years or so, and then he finally told me some things. I've come in agreements with what he said to me, and finally been lining up. It took a while to kind of line up with what he was telling me to do. So last year I was in a state where, okay God, when I'm ready, you said it's gonna happen. Me, I know something, I'm making plans. I can't make plans for what God is telling me to do. I could only do in sections when he tells me to do it, because he has all the plans, he has all the details. And if anybody out here that's like me that has a problem with that can be a problem, but it's a great thing because you don't have to worry about the details. You don't have to worry about the every plan and everything, because God has that plan. So you can rest in that and trust what he's doing in you, that he wants you now to in life where some of us are in that season, a lot of us are where, okay, all that writing, all that journaling, all that is good, but that stuff is manifested now. So now it's paying attention, it's being sensitive to the spirit, it's making sure you having your prayer time, it's making sure you reading the word, making sure you being obedient to the word, making sure you're being obedient to the spirit. When the Holy Spirit say move, you move. When he say speak on it, you speak on it. And those are things how we accomplish what we need to accomplish and move further forward into what God is doing in our lives, because obedience is definitely better than sacrifice. When I tell you, every time I've been obedient, and the times I haven't been, and I struggle with, and I ask, and I'm like, God, was I supposed to? Forgive me, Lord. But that's okay. Like I said, we fall, but we get back up again. But we should not be in that state constantly. So just remember that with mental illness and stuff, that you don't be ashamed of it. Let God heal you from that. See the doctors, see life coaches, see whoever you can see to help you with these things. Do not shy away from that, because God is helping you. I also wanted to make sure I say that as well, because God sends us to people, a human being, our race, our human race, for one another. We're not put on this earth to do this by ourselves. We're put on here to be together, to do these. My gift help your gift help my gift. Our gifts all come together and help the whole puzzle. We're all pieces to this puzzle. And that was the title, I think, of another one of my little short videos. And I try to keep them between 5 and 10 minutes. Sometimes if it go longer, 10 to 20 minutes, no more than 20 minutes. Because I know the expand the paying attention in your mind and start shifting off, and then people got things to do. So I try to keep them short, and I think I'm just going to cut it off there. I just came on to see how you were doing. Let me know in the comments where you from, so I can see, and some of the things you want to talk about on here, some things you want me to touch on. I will be touching on some things on different channels. I'll let you know what channel they're on if I come on with a video, and let you know that so and so happened on the Human Race Movement channel on YouTube. I'll let you know if it went on Sister2Sister channel or Widow to Widow. Like sisterhood is not so much the video sometimes, so you got to pay attention with me, because a lot of times it's me moving on God. And like the cooking video I did on Sister2Sister, it wasn't more so about the video with the food, with the sauteed spinach with the chicken. It was more about what he was saying in the description of that video. So I invite you to go to Sister2Sister, capital SISTER 2, the number 2, capital SISTER on YouTube. Put the 115 after that, and that'll take you there. And that video was more so God was showing me and telling me to tell people to use what you have. Again, I'm usually the first partaker and don't realize it until after the video air, and then he talks to me more about it. So whatever I say on the videos, he's talking to me first, but I know he's saying something. He's going to give you something as well out of it. And that's what we're to do. And before I forget, on that video, I also said something about, I made a challenge for those out there who have not set their YouTube channels up, or have set it up and have not been really dedicated to it. Now is the time and the season to do so. Let God use you and move you on your channel to move how he wants you to move, and you have the freedom to doing it without other people stopping you, besides the rules and regulations that these platforms have. But without you being able to go on somebody else's platform and can't say XYZ, and what God wants you to say, you can say it when you want to say it, how you want to say it. You can say it throughout the middle of the night, whatever day, first thing in the morning, in the evening, anything you want, because it's your timing and it's God's timing. And those who are servants of the Lord, I really recommend you to set your channels up and watch God move, because we don't know, when we being obedient, God has a bigger plan than what he's telling us. You know, just like when he give us that promise and he don't tell us what we all got to go through to get it, to get to that promise. The same thing with these purpose. So I'll be speaking on a lot of purpose stuff, a lot of warfare stuff, and basic stuff of entrepreneurs as we're moving in our entrepreneurial gifts and these businesses and movements and ministries and whatever we're doing out here. There's some things that God say to touch on, because this is also not just helping me and you, but it's also for my legacy, for my great grands that I don't have, for my grands that I don't have, paving the way as he's giving me things. I have stuff journaling, and these are all just journals for me, and as well as sharing and helping and being a part of what God has me to do out here, my part of it. So I invite you guys to make your channels up, set your channels up, take time and do it how God tell you to do it. That's why it's important for you to stay with him, set these channels up, and let's get it, because there's a lot out here to be getting. And I'll be talking more on your gifts, the fruits of the spirits and the gifts of the spirits, because he said our gifts will make room for us, and as we're using our gifts, we're walking in our purpose, and that's when we're free. That's when we're completely free. No one can hold you down when you're walking in your purpose, when you live in life like you want to worry about. You don't worry about retiring and stuff like that when you're walking in your purpose. And that's what I told God at a certain point in my life. I was supposed to be having my own business in the culinary art field. That didn't go because God had other plans, and I seen things were being blocked and didn't understand it for years later to understand it completely now. Not that it was done with, but it was put on hold. And as I'm doing this, I'll be able to infuse some of the culinary art stuff into my nonprofits and stuff like that, which I'm working on a lot of these things, so I don't mention them a lot until I get the paperwork done and stuff like that. But you know, there's a great work for all of us out here to do, and I just encourage you to set up on different platforms. Do not stay on one platform, and to keep a record, which I'm trying to do a better record of keeping of my own stuff on my end. When these electronics, phones and everything shut down, that we have different backups and stuff, even off of our phones. That's another thing. I'm working hard to find something to put these things on, that we have backups for backups. Sometimes I just be in my head a lot, but sometimes these things be really great things to keep in consideration. So I love you all, and whatever I missed, this video is getting a little lengthy, so whatever I missed this video, then I'll do another video, whatever channel it is, I'll tell you guys. If it's not Widow to Widow, if it's Sister to Sister, I'll mention on that channel about this video, and vice versa, so that way you try to keep up. But I usually try to put them out where I feel the best, my spirit is telling me to put them out at. And my human rights movement channel will be getting a lot of, I think, of the spiritual warfare stuff. I think that's what I remember, unless the Lord change it in my spirit to change or whatever. But I think the warfare stuff will be on my human rights, and that makes sense why he gave me that, to do that there. A lot of the cooking stuff may be on the sisterhood, but again, it's not about the cooking until I get my utensils and stuff that I got a lot of stuff that I got to get restored. Like, that was the video about too. I wasn't trying to do, it was a practice journal. A journal and practicing. That's why I wasn't really saying anything. The music was playing and the spirit said push play, so I pushed play. And that video was just letting you know to use what you have, because I had this knife that's not even mine. There's a long story behind it. I wonder how the young lady doing that, who knife it belongs to. And I have to get my knife sets, my nice clear dishes and sets like that. I like to set up. So I'm not there yet, but I still will do as God tells me to do when he tells me to do until I get there. That's how I'm going to get there. So, but that was that video was about. Use what you have. I usually use shrimp. I love shrimp. I love seafood. At the time I wasn't eating shrimp. I was just on veggies and salmon, and just came off of that to eat other foods, and chicken was the first thing I grabbed before I grabbed anything else. And I wasn't going to eat that night, so it was like, you know what, it's getting late, hurry up and just do some chicken and spinach real quick with some little onions and stuff in it. And I didn't have my peppers that I would have putting in I'm good with color. I love my red, my orange, my yellow peppers would have been up in there. I didn't have any of that. But it wasn't about that in that video. It was about being obedient and doing what God tell you to do for whatever reason he tell you to do it. We don't always know why. Again, sometimes we may get that answer later, but we might not get it. But being okay with not getting it, being okay with God just testing you to move when he say move. That may be just it. So I love y'all. Keep the faith. Keep the peace.